N-O-S-T, Nost, H-E-A-I-N, again, Nostagain.
Hi everyone, welcome in, welcome. We're gonna get started in probably a minute or two. We'll see. We're gonna see if there's anybody else coming in, and then we'll get started. Grab a coffee, grab a water, get comfortable.
Oh, nice.
Welcome on in.
Yeah, different time zones around the world, I'm sure. I recognize, I think, two people here. So thanks for joining from all over. Here in Montreal, it's a rainy day. So it's perfect to talk about
Yeah.
nostalgia.
It is.
That's awesome.
Cold too.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a cozy talk.
Yes, exactly. Everybody get comfortable. We're talking about games. Get comfortable.
And let's see. Okay, somebody just messaged me. Yes, the talk is on now. Let me send the link to them. And Derek, you'll be introducing the Q&A function as you speak. Like, cool, awesome. Because I think some new people here. Okay, I think we can get started, shall we? Yeah, sounds pretty good. So this is now recorded. This will be on YouTube to watch for later. But first and foremost, thank you everybody for being here live at least. This is season 2, episode 2 of our live web series called memorabilia.mp4. Which is a part of a larger group that we call the Nostagain network, right? Which is North America's largest student-led collective that explores what we call generative nostalgia. So art pieces, video games, for example, personal projects that uh, uses this emotion in a way that isn't just a backwards, passive, lonesome looking back, but as a sort of something that generates new ways of looking at the old, critiques about the world, new feelings, new communities, right? So it generates things. And so if you want to sort of learn more about our previous episodes or just the network in general, visit us on Instagram at Nostagain. Perfect. More people coming in. Everybody feels nostalgia, so everybody else is already an expert on it.
Yeah, and so related to that, before we continue, we would like to give a land acknowledgement. At the Nostagain Network, we recognize the traditional territories upon which each participant works or lives, either as invited or uninvited guests. And the Nostagain Network is committed to honoring and enacting respect and ethics in the work we do on all traditional and ancestral lands.
Yep, especially with nostalgia, it's an emotion that is personally subjective. But as we see with the works that we're here, and especially that you're all here with your interest, it takes a collective effort to try and understand why we remember what is worth remembering. And particularly in what we call nostalgic today, why does that still have that power? For example, with Alex's game today, why are some of the contents in this game resonant to some people, personally nostalgic, as opposed to being something that is mundane or something that's everyday life?
Exactly. We are so lucky today to be joined by Alex Klexber, a solo game developer who's creating a viral nostalgia game, Eternal Afternoon, which has now been wish listed almost 10,000 times. We are your moderators. My name is Derek Pasborg. I use pronouns they, them. I have a Master of Arts in Sociology, and I'm joined with my colleague Richie Sriracha pronouns he, him, who has a is a PhD candidate in social and cultural analysis at Concordia University in Montreal. Before we get started, I'd like to mention that if you have any questions throughout the talk, please post them in the Q&A tab, which is just located above you in the Teams tab, and we'll get to them when we enter our audience Q&A section. Alex, you can go ahead and share with sound.
Let's see if I can share it correctly this time. Okay, so optimize your sound. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Anybody can hear? Yes. Okay. So let's start. Right. So first of all, I would like to briefly introduce myself. My name is Alex. I'm an animator and a game developer. By day, I work as a tech lead at a large mobile game company, and by night, I create short films, animations, and artistic experimental PC games entirely on my own. No studio, no funding, and no team. This is some of the animations and short films I made over the years. You can watch them on YouTube or Vimeo. Anyway, Eternal Afternoon is my third game. I have two small games on Steam, Don't Wake God and Wheelborn. And this third one, probably the most personal and least commercial project I ever made, has already gained surprising viral traction online, even before release. So some of the videos I posted have reached hundreds of thousands of views, with one of them reaching almost 3 million views now, and more than 200,000 likes on Instagram. As now, Eternal Afternoon has more than 10,000 wishlists on Steam, and all of this accumulated in just 3 months. So basically what I'm saying is that for a small indie project, it's gotten pretty big in an unexpected amount unexpected amount of attention. As I mentioned, this is actually a small, unusual project. You play as Sasha, a 10-year-old boy wandering through his childhood neighborhood during the final 20 minutes before the end of the world. What Sasha really wants to do, though, is to play on his old Pentium 4 PC. And there's no clear objective. It's kind of like a open world game. Players are free to explore the neighborhood however they like. It's filled with nostalgia, sadness, and surreal, mysterious moments. In terms of gameplay, there are no save system, no power-ups, and all the progression is knowledge-based. And that's why, honestly, the less you know about the less you know about the game beforehand, the better will be for your experience. And I will try throughout this talk to do my best to talk about the game in a way without spoiling its meaningful moments. This game is based on my childhood photos and on my childhood neighborhood. As you can see, we'll talk about it. Yeah, let's watch the trailer. If you watch the trailer, you will understand what I'm talking about. Yep, so this is Eternal Afternoon, and think we can start. I will share more stuff throughout the questions if will be needed, but this is the introduction.
Alex, that is fantastic. And I can't tell you like how much of the like kind of media you've released already, like how much I've kind of already absorbed and like I'm super, super interested in. So I'm
Thank you.
very excited to be here. I don't know, Richie, did you have something you wanted to ask to get started, or did you want me to go ahead?
Oh, absolutely. I can take it first, Derek.
Go for it.
Man, you know how to entice nostalgia, with exploration. That was awesome. By the way, for folks who just joined in, on the top corner on your screen, there's a Q&A function. If you press that, you can ask your questions and we can ask on your behalf to Alex. Alex, first and foremost, um, I love the fact that by day and by night, you revolve yourself around media and games, right? And it seems like this is
Yeah.
a project that you've put a lot of, your own story, as you have too, a lot of effort and thought. You mentioned earlier that this is your most personal and least commercial game, yet
Yeah.
arguably sort of the most viral that you've had, right? I'm just wondering, as a sort of a solo journey, how has this project of creating Eternal Afternoon, exploring your nostalgia been? How has that been? Has it been quite isolating? Has it been quite rewarding, doing this all alone, using through the medium of the game and creating something? How has it been for you?
Yeah, it is rewarding. It is also like a little bit like not healing, but like some kind of session with the psychologist, because it helps me understand myself better. It helps me. It's also very maybe egocentric in a way because it gives me an excuse to like really look into myself and think about the way I experience things, and I guess it gives me some satisfaction in this way. Um, it is very fulfilling to do that. It feels like I'm back from the work, you know. Another day of work is done, and now the evening comes, and comes the time to do something that feels meaningful, that feels like I'm fighting the gray, ordinary life in a way. Maybe it's too cliche to say it, but this is how it feels. Maybe this is why I'm doing all of these projects because I'm kind of I love my job, I love my life, but I also want something more like on the artistic level, and this is what I'm doing at nights. I'm also sleeping sometimes.
I mean, this is like such a prescient thing to deal with, like this like particularly with time right now, and just like what this game has to say about time. I'm curious about your ideas, like why is there a 20-minute time limit, that kind of thing. So, I mean, forgive me, this might be a long-winded question, but I promise there's a question at the end of it.
All right.
So you treat it as not only a feature whereby you encourage players to replay and experience new moments within the game, but it also is kind of an analogy for the experience of nostalgia. When we think back on these childhood moments and the like, we revisit these aesthetic and temporal contexts of our memory with this newfound knowledge, with a longing for something we regretfully understand is not within reach anymore, at least not within physical touch, maybe some of the memories. But
Yeah.
unlike memory, Eternal Afternoon asks you to play it again. It tells us that memories are like fragments of mystery that beg to be uncovered or explored, in spite of the inevitable black wave of fading memory and time. So I was wondering, how does your personal nostalgia grapple with this? And where does the black wave or the idea of inevitability fit in? Like, what does it evoke? Is it the fear of losing the memories, regret for decisions made? What does it mean to you?
Yeah. You already like explain it with beautiful words, and like your interpretation is also very beautiful. Um, where it like for me, it's like kind of two things. It's the fear of time passing mixed up with the nostalgia part. So I will elaborate and explain more. So this game is actually born from the feeling that I get throughout my whole life, which is like it's not something super new or something that nobody knows, but I think there is a difference between knowing a thing and really deeply understanding this thing. So I think I really like understand, maybe because I'm also I'm not believe in God or something like that. I really deeply understand that time is passing all the time, and in the end we're all gonna die and it's all gonna be over. And this is kind of my one of my biggest fears. Even I will give you like an interesting example. I'm a father now. I have a 4-year-old daughter, and sometimes fatherhood can be challenging. Sometimes you are in a playground and you just it's not like it's challenging and it's boring, and you just want it to pass, and you want the child to go sleep and you can rest and do your stuff. But actually, if you think about it, time is always passing and they grow old so fast. And even like this fear of mine actually helped me to deal with the challenge of parenthood in a strange way. I look at my time with my daughter as if it was a memory. Like I'm thinking of it like how would I look at it after this all already passed? Like I'm old now and she's an adult and she won't need my attention that much. And so that make me enjoy those moments that are challenging. Uh, and I say to myself, like, I just want to hold on those moments because they will pass. And so coming back again to Eternal Afternoon, this is one of my biggest fears. Like, not something super original, but I'm really like feeling the time passing all the time. And I really wanted to make something that like to put it into some creation that expresses this idea of time passing. And the best thing, like in games, or not only in games, like in general speaking, like in art, you need to kind of compress it into something that will be uh, tangible and understandable for people to make the message clearer. And so what if there is not a lot of time left? Like in life, you have, if you're lucky, a few years, few like we have a few years till it's going to end, right? But in this game, it's like scanning down to 20 minutes. What if it's just 20 minutes that it's all that is left? And then you can really experience it. Then you can really understand how it feels when time is running out. But for context, it's not only like time is running out, because there is a lot of games that has some time mechanism. It's time running out in a very like mundane scenario. In a way, this is what the connection to reality and to details makes it so like I hope like more relatable. And how it's all connects to nostalgia, because of course, like those are the moments that already gone. And I'm really nostalgic person. Everybody who knows me know I'm really nostalgic, even too nostalgic about different stuff. And so most of the things that I make are relates to my childhood. Not that I had such a like great childhood, but I think just in childhood you experience things for the first time. You have this like freedom, and this is also kind of connects to the game building of this game that gives you a lot of freedom to feel like a child wandering in the afternoon. And all this also connects to the name of the game, because it's not accidental that it's called this way. It's also because, you know, as a child, time passes slowly, and the way you feel about like um, this time afternoon that you can go and do things and you are bored. You know what? One of the things is that I'm I'm not really have the opportunity now to be bored so much. There is not a lot of moments in my life where I'm not doing something, where I'm not running to and trying um to I forgot the word. Like, you know, I'm not bored so much. And the boredom is actually an interesting thing, because when I was a child, this boredom is actually was something that I didn't enjoy. I wanted to for the time to pass already. And now I really want this time to come back, and it's not possible. So this tragedy is kind of the core of Eternal Afternoon.
Alex,
Uh, uh, Yeah,
tell us.
you have such a poetic way of like talking about this, like a way that like grounds it in like an experience that like so many people share, and that's what makes it like so meaningful. And I think
Thank you.
related to what you're talking about in this game and what you're showing in it, I think it's like it's a little bit of like a touchstone. You've kind of like you've poked and prodded something that other people feel, and I think that's so amazing. Richie, did you have a follow up?
Absolutely. Derek, you hit the nail on the head there. And Alex, you sort of you're a true nostalgic at heart in the sense that it's not just about being a child, but you talk about the grayness of life, right? Battling that. And you describe your effort here, right? Your journey for this the creation of this game as a sort of, it feels like coming back and being able to sit at the computer again. It's something that I love to do, right? It's sort of that playtime, that sort of creativity time that you give to yourself when you were a kid.
Yeah.
And then you sort of segue here very touchingly to this sort of precarity, right? The precarity of adulthood, where everything is super rushed, but at moments it's slow too, like the mundanity of it all, the boredom, the responsibilities. And I'm curious if you can maybe speak in specifically using the examples of your game in terms of where you're coming from is trying to battle this quickness that you have in your life, that you see the moment with your daughter as a nostalgic thing because it is a way to cope with the fact that this moment will soon be gone. And,
Yeah.
like they always say, rose-tinted glasses, right? But the glasses are always made of thorns, right? Nostalgia
Mm.
often comes from a sense of pain or a sense of discomfort. I was wondering within your game, which you call Eternal Afternoon, what sorts of characters, design choices, narratives you have in there that sort of try to hold on to the moment? Because the black wave is a sort of timer. That's the adulthood saying, hey, it's time to go to bed, so you have to wake up tomorrow. It's going to end. But what other characters or design choices in the game sort of have that tension? Those who like want to just live, want to dwell, want to stay in the past. Can you maybe speak to that in terms of within your design? How does that reflect what you were talking about? That clash between precarity and wanting to preserve the moment.
Mm. Yeah, you know, like in Eternal Afternoon, like in the game, it's not that you have necessarily those kind of characters that clashing with this, that having this conflict, because for the characters inside the world of Eternal Afternoon, the end of the world is coming for real. They're like, for them, it's not a metaphor. Like all of those people in that you can meet there, and this is part of, I think, one of the things that's interesting maybe about this game, and I use it as a tool to make the viewer, the user, the player to feel in a certain way. But for the characters, the end of the world is coming for real, and so they doing things that they would do if they have 20 minutes to live. It's also a really interesting thought experiment to imagine what different people, different ages would say when they like in this crazy situation. And again, I don't want to spoil too much because look, in this kind of games like Eternal Afternoon, the let's say there is no fail state. Maybe I'm drifting a little bit from your question, but I think it's worth like mentioning. In this kind of games, there is no win or fail state. You could say that the fail state is not to discover things. And the win state is you going around and discovering a lot of small little details. You know, we can actually talk just for a minute about what it means to like what it means like um walking simulator, this genre of games. Like I imagine that most of the people who watch this, they probably played Doom or Quake or some of those shooters, right? This is actually the ones that I've been playing when I was a child, and it's also referenced in the game. But what happens if you take Doom, for example, and you remove the weapons and the fighting and the enemies? What's left? It's probably like field trip at Phobos or something like that, right? It's something that one of my friends said. It's not my original thought, but I just wanted to say that if you remove the violence and the weapons from those games, the only thing that is left mechanically is walking. And if so, it's not really game because you're just walking around and it's like maybe a screensaver for someone. But it can be a game if like your goal is to maybe explore, to know new stuff, like in a trip. You want to see stuff, you want to know new things that you don't know. And so if we like taking this back to what I'm talked before about Eternal Afternoon, there's no like fail state in the game. You can't even like die besides the end of the world. You even if you fall from really tall building, something will happen, but you won't die. I won't spoil. But the point of it is that the fail, like the lose of this game is not to discover this interesting thing or that interesting secret over there or not talking with this person. It's not about finishing the game, it's about the journey itself. And so each one of those characters, like in Eternal Afternoon, I don't have like generic NPC. Like each and one of those NPC, they're the details of this game. In my opinion, like as I see it, this is the purpose. Going around and talking with them, discovering different things. I'm sorry, I need to take another glass of water. Can you wait for me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry.
No problem.
Sorry, guys.
No problem. In the meantime, folks in the chat, if you have any questions, now is the perfect time. put them in the Q&A tab, and we'll get to them right after our questions.
There's also in the chat here, folks, we have put down Alex's game on Steam. Yep.
Yep.
Yep, there you go. And Dragos, if you want to put your questions in the chat as well, we can ask them at the end, if that's okay.
Thank you for letting me talk so much about my game.
Hey, that's
Really
why we're here.
appreciate.
By the way, before we move
I
on to
kind
Dev,
of drifted away because I couldn't really answer your question, but
you
sorry.
gave us a bunch of good nuggets. When you edit the reels later on for this, as so will I. My favorite line of your answer there was Doom without weapons may not be a game, but it can be a game if you want it to be. Sort of, and I love the fact that you said, there's no fail state. The goal is that it's not even for you to accomplish something or talk to NPCs or collect something. It's as if the game, it's a game, but it doesn't take itself seriously as a game. It's a sort of a waiting room, Like you never let us forget the fact that Eternal Afternoon is about nostalgia in the context of life, that the
Yeah,
fact that you can look back as much as you can, but at the end of the day, everything passes and time is ticking. It's a waiting
yeah,
room.
yeah,
Eternal Afternoon is like a waiting room at the dentist office or when you're waiting for the bus in the morning. You can't do anything about it because something will come, but you can enjoy it while you're there.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, actually,
Derek, I
there
wonder if you want
is
to move on.
yeah,
Sorry?
there is some things that you can do inside Eternal Afternoon, and but those are things that you will discover only if you will actually wait and you will try to do. Like if you're bored, the boredom is actually something that is really useful, and there is a reason why we evolved in this way, that boredom feels uncomfortable, because boredom is actually great. It makes you more creative, it makes you try things. And Eternal Afternoon is not a boring game, but if you kind of get bored, it will push you to explore the game in a way. We can even say that boredom is the fail state. Boredom is the fail state, and using this boredom to find the right details, the right person to talk to, this is the win state of the game. You could say it in this way.
No, it's really interesting. I like the idea of process and how like it plays and everything. It's not just there's a conscious thought put into in everything that's kind of in your game, and so I'm interested in how you chose these like visual and auditory elements that you decided to put in. There's a very nostalgic texture to everything. For example, Sasha's room looks lived in, almost as if it was plucked like straight out of time or out of a picture. So I was
Yes.
curious, what references did you use to construct this particular time and place, and what does that process look like in game dev, in game
Mhm.
development?
No, that's a great question. So, as you might know, this game is based on my childhood photos. And the reason for that is that I believe in details. And even though not everybody of those 3 million people or 10,000 wish list probably they're not like grew in my neighborhood, and I think that their neighborhood's probably very different. But the thing is that people have a sense for specificity. When people recognize, like on a like subconscious level, that this is tangible in reality, like the details are feel real because they are very specific. Maybe let's say because they're specific, it feels real, even though it's like super pixelated and low poly. And so to be to make this game more relatable, I really believe that I needed to put the effort into the details to make it like grounded in reality. And of course, there is no doubt that I need to choose my own memories, my own reality. And it's not, again, it's not something, as people say in the comments, political or something like that. It's just me. I grew up in this place, and this is my personal memories. And so I just took those personal memories and I used them. And like on a technical level, what I did is that I created a bunch of low poly models, and specifically I wanted to be low poly and pixelated because it's also very nostalgic for me. And so in the technical aspect, I actually like took photos and just in Photoshop the hell out of them to make textures out of those photos. And let me show you some example. Maybe even there is like an example in the presentation I showed earlier. I will share just the screen without the sound, okay? So in the presentation that click, so there was a slide here. Let's go. Oh no, oh, it's not working. There was this slide over here that you can see. So for example, the buildings, I just went there and I photographed those buildings. And then I'll show you right here because I kind of prepared it. So yeah, let's see that one, right? So for example, this is the texture that makes almost the entire game world that I created in Eternal Afternoon. And it's all made of photos, actually. It's not something that I painted. It's just photos that I took from my old photos and also photos that I like photographed now when I went and for example, this texture is one of those buildings and I just erased the windows and I put all the different windows right here. And this digital clock is actually a real digital clock that my parents have in their house. And it's going to sound a little bit creepy, but I went to like almost every staircase room. How you say it in English? Like the place where the stairs of the building. There is a name for that in English.
The stairwell?
Yeah, but the stairwell is like the actual stairs. But I
Oh, the
mean
landing. Like just like
so
the part where you can kind of stand on?
the part where like it's not an apartment. Like
Hallway, fire escape, something like
yeah.
that.
So let's
Yeah,
say
okay.
that I went to those buildings, entered almost every stairwell room that was there, and I photographed different doors of people. But as you can see, because it's low resolution, it's a little bit like how you say it, like no, forgot the
Like
word.
pixel?
Because it's pixelated,
Mhm.
you can't really tell that I just photographed some person's uh, no door. So it's not maybe it's not that creepy, but for in even though it's pixelated, it gives the sense of specificity, as I said. For example, this one. It's something that is very specific to those kind of buildings. And if I would paint it, I probably wouldn't paint it like this with this like half opened like it's not straight line, right? All those kind of no, those carpets that they have in the stairwell. I can't imagine those. I can't paint those. The specificity must be taken from the real to be this way. All those pictures, yeah. So anyway, again, what I'm trying to tell is that I'm just went and I photographed everything. Have here this folder have different videos of how it looks, the actual neighborhood, the actual buildings. It's very gray and not interesting, but I kind of like it because it's mine. Yeah.
It's yours, but it's also specific enough that people can see their own kind of their own history in like buildings like these or stuff like that. So amazing.
Yeah.
This is amazing texture work.
Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, the textures are taken from those and also from my own childhood photos. I have this video on Instagram. Uh, I think I have it here in the. I won't show like this with the sound, but where's this video with the pictures, the photos versus childhood photo? This one. Yeah. So you can see that this is actually my room when I was a child with this uh, Slavic carpet on the wall. I really like it. And this is my father. This is me as a child, and this is the same computer. And you can see how specific I was about it because this is not a regular table. It's actually a school table that we picked from the trash, and then my father modified it and added some parts to it. And this is actually in the game now, the same computer. So yeah,
Really?
I really believe in those small details. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys.
I think that's what grounds it in like that particular moment in time. Like it's not only like because you can I'm sure you could draw on like what your memory of that place would look like, but there's also something more powerful too about like translating that picture one for one and then going like, oh wait, actually I remember it being I moved it sometime after that photo or before that it looked like this. So it's really
Yeah,
cool, really really fascinating, like deep into, like you said, the details, and
yeah.
that's so cool.
And the neighborhood in the game is not like no, like it's not super similar to my actual neighborhood. It's just inspired by it, and it's
Mm.
inspired by different details. For example, the neighborhood that I live in now is a different neighborhood, but there is a lot of like small peripheral things there that I like photographed, and I said that, oh my, this fence, I want to add it to my game because it's so specific. Or this part, like there is a water tower in the game, and there is no water tower in my neighborhood, but those like concrete water towers, it's like, I don't know how to explain. It's like some general feeling of nostalgia that I have to those kind of structures in my like country. Um, it's not specific to my neighborhood, but there is a lot of them in different neighborhoods, and
Oh, suspense. Oh
No.
no. And what?
No.
Well, nostalgia waves comes and goes, folks. This is what
Ah,
happens. But as Alex tries to regain the frequency, I think we have time for if any folks down in the chat want to ask one more question, because we have two questions now from Amos and Daniel, which we'll ask. Alex is back. Perfect. Um, and Dragos, if you want to write your question in the chat as well, because Memorabilia, we always ask your questions rather than having microphones on, if that's okay.
yeah, no, unfortunately we can't enable it on our end.
Thank you, Dragos. Alex, thank you for that answer. Can you hear us now? Oh, I
Alex.
think it's a bit of a tricky
Yeah,
situation here, isn't it?
boy.
Yeah.
Okay, hopefully I hope Alex comes back.
Yes.
Please.
We shall
Please,
wait.
I would like to continue being nostalgic for this game.
So many questions. Do you know what we'll do actually, Derek? Since we're near the hour, I can send Alex my questions later. Would you like to ask your remaining one, and then we can move on to the audience's questions?
Well, I think Alex is kind of still frozen on my end.
Yeah. We can wait. Again, we'll post the link down in the chat for folks to look at. And by the way, when Alex earlier was talking about seeing his present moment with his daughter as a viewpoint of a memory, so looking at the present from the viewpoint of the future, that's what nostalgia researchers call anticipated nostalgia. It's to use the nostalgia to sort of look and evaluate the present moment. Is this a moment worth looking back to? And if it isn't, should I make the present moment better? So for folks who are interested in nostalgia research, that kind of stuff, anticipated nostalgia, that's what Alex was describing. Let me just sort of put that in the chat again to remind you.
Sure.
We shall see. We shall see if Alex can join us. You know how it is with the internet.
Yeah, well, listen, if it wasn't anything like this, it was last week with a much bigger outage, so.
Is Alex back? Yeah, that's right.
So sorry. So sorry, folks. Alex, I see your camera trying to turn on. Oh, I'm sure it wouldn't. Too bad no institutions like ours support having calls on that.
Well, what we can do is if you're still interested in what Alex is doing and want to get involved and in touch with him personally, please visit his Instagram, and I'll just paste his Instagram in the chat right now, so you can ask your questions and connect with him directly, just in case. Is he back now?
Hey
Alex?
guys, I'm sorry, I don't know what's happened.
Can you hear us?
Hold on. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Hey, you're back now. Perfect.
I'm sorry, I don't know what's happened.
No problem.
No worries. Stuff like this happens all the time. Like, listen, remember last week? Yes, welcome back.
Meanwhile, I downloaded the Teams for my phone, so I could join with the phone if something like this happens again.
No
but
worries.
Now the internet is back.
Thank goodness. So I don't know where we quite exactly left off, but I think it's a good time to ask some questions from the audience.
Yes.
All right.
So we have a first one from Amos, who asks, most kids start playing video games when they're around 7 to 8 years old. Have you ever had the thought of your child, your daughter, playing Eternal Afternoon at some point? Have you thought about that, whilst you're making the game? What would that be like?
Yeah, of course. I also show her parts of the game, not the scary parts, but some of the parts because it's so grounded in reality. So some of that is actually very suitable for her. For example, seeing that, hey, I made a girl with skates that that skate around the neighborhood, and she also used skates, so it's cool for her. But yeah, I understand the question. I really hope that someday when she will grow older, she will understand what Eternal Afternoon is about. Yeah, I really hope that she will enjoy it at some point. Yeah.
And many more children too. One of the questions I had earlier as well, that thank you to Amos for asking, was you have so much this meticulous building from the past, going back and revisiting your neighborhood. But I'm curious about where you see your game for the future, like what will your game become for people as a product of something that you personally look back to and your children and family members. And actually, that's a very good segue to the next question we have from Ruth as well. And Ruth said, your game seems like a kind of relaxing break from your life, as well as for the player of your game. not having a goal or purpose in the game is almost like a form of meditation where you can be present and feel the experience. Do you feel like the immense popularity, the wish listing of your games speaks to people's desire to slow down life and be more present in the moment? Or maybe is it because they want to find some creativity in choosing what to do, like beyond the bedroom? How do you interpret this?
It's also an interesting question because it's a short game. One of the things that short games can do is they're actually for busy people. So on one hand, you can say that, yeah, this game is about relaxing and having a cozy afternoon, if you can call the end of the world cozier, yeah. But it's also suitable for the opposite, like for people who don't have a lot of time, like me myself. I don't have a lot of time to play games. Look, most of the video games, like the big ones that come out now, they come with like this thought that you will play like for a year at least this game, because I don't know, maybe I'm not a real gamer or something like that, but like it's overwhelming to me the thought that I'm starting a new game, and to actually finish it, I need like tens and tens of hours. Yeah, so I myself, I'm a fan of short games, of these indie small games. I really enjoy playing them, not only because of the artistic value, but because also they're short and it's not that overwhelming for me. So it can be both. It can be a cozy, relaxing gameplay where you don't need to stress too much, besides the fact that the end of the world is coming and it's inevitable. But also because the end of the world is coming and it's inevitable and the gameplay is just 20 minutes, it's also kind of a good thing. You can play this game with very short sessions and still enjoy it exactly as it intended, and not just to stop yourself and come back to it later and be stressed about it. So I think it's a win-win situation, in my opinion.
Hmm. Now, I think I'll just ask one final question as well before we close off,
All right.
from Daniel as well. And they asked that, how does it feel to develop a game that's quite different from most games nowadays, sort of hyper casual, or it has a journey, an end state, etc. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this kind of game that you've described is not super mainstream, right? I mean, they've never played a walking sim
No.
before. And the question is, isn't it scary working on a game not knowing if people will immediately vibe with it or not? Sort of not the typical game for the typical gamer. Does that concern you at all? Or
Not,
no?
but not in the way I think Daniel thinks, because I have a day job, and this project is like not a hobby, but it's like a passion project of mine. So it doesn't scares me in a way that it might scare like a real indie developer. I'm not betting all my money on this game, just something that I
Mm,
do for fun. So if
mm,
it will not succeed, nothing is lost for me, like in terms of money. But it will be a heartbreak because I made already two games, and before that I made a short film for 2 years, and I kind of experienced a few times this sensation of working on something really, really hard, and then nobody cares.
mm,
It's not about the money; it's about that tension. I think. I hope
mm,
it's not sounds like bad or something.
mm,
But I really, it's not that I'm making out for other people, but from the other side, it's like this is screen-based arts, right? It should
mm,
be screened on a screen. It should be visible by other people. So I'm kind of care about the fact that what I'm making is will be visible by other people, and
mm,
all this fascination of mine, and like making games is because I found that this can be a way for me to express my ideas and for people to enjoy it through the medium of games. And so it's not scary for me in the sense that I will lose money, but it could be a little bit scary in terms of nobody will care about it. But in the case of Eternal Afternoon, people do care about it, so it's great. So now it's scary that I might that people might be like it's not what they expected or something. But I think it's still like, even look, in my opinion, after all the things that I made that people didn't care about, even the fact that I made a trailer that reached 3 million views, even if the game sucks, it's not sucks, but even if it sucks, it's still an accomplishment, and I'm still very glad that it happened.
And we're still very glad to have this conversation with you, because this is very profound stuff that I think that should have the spotlight shined on it. And
Thank you.
Alex, thank you so much for taking the time to explain all your not only explain your work, but also in a way explain your nostalgia, which is part of why we do this. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I really appreciate that you gave me this spot. You gave me the opportunity to talk about it, to express myself. This is the things that I really enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. It will be on our network eternally. And speaking of that, Derek, you want to close off the live series by the hour?
Yeah, exactly. So I just want to share one last thing. If you are curious about this network and the kind of things that we do, the kind of people that we can bring and bring a spotlight to their work, you can for sure check out this QR code. It's going to lead you to our link tree with our socials, our website. You'll find everything there. But without further ado, we're going to close off this session. Alex, again, thank you so much, and we'll be following that game closely, as I hope everybody else here does.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye now, everyone.
Bye-bye.